Welcome to Learning React with me. In my previous video, we have seen conditional rendering where we use state variable, double ampersand and ternary operator to render components based on our user clicks. You may have a doubt that why I have used these operators when we can achieve the same using CSS instead. We can simply put display none in the inline style based on the same state value, right? Let's see what happens when we apply style instead of using operators. I don't want to disturb the existing elements, so I'll add another div where I display a message saying this div will be displayed only when is subscribed is true. So I want to display this div element only when our state property is subscribed is true. So let me add an inline style here. Style equals display none. If we move to the browser, I see an error here. This is because in React, styles are added as JavaScript object, and this object will be bound to the style attribute. So I'll remove this and assign an empty object which has a property display. We don't have to mention any single quotes because this is a property of an object, and based on the value of eSubscribed state property, I want to decide whether this div should be displayed on the screen or not. So let's use the ternary operator here. This dot state dot is subscribed, and if this value is true, I want to display this message, so I'll put it as block, and if it is false, I don't want to display this div, so I'll put it as none. Not only the display property, you can add any number of styles, for example background color, but one thing we need to remember is properties should be in camel case. For example, in normal CSS we use something like this, but in React, since this is an object, we have to make sure this is in camel case. For now I don't need this property, so let me remove this and save. Now let's see how this div element is rendered, but before that let me display the eSubscribed property on the screen so that we clearly understand the concept. Save it and move to the browser. Initially we didn't subscribe, so we don't see the message, and eSubscribe value is false. Let me go to the inspect elements, and here here we see the div element with the style displaying none. Let me click on subscribe. Now the style is updated to display block, and we see this div on the screen. I hope you understood what I'm trying to show. This div element was always there irrespective of whether the user clicked on subscribe button or not. It's just hidden on the UI, but DOM always had it. What if I have sensitive data like email ID or mobile number which only admins can see and not any other normal user? So if we use this approach, anyone can go to the developer tools and see the information, right? So it is always important to render your components conditionally without using styles like display none. And I want to show you another important concept here, which is virtual DOM. DOM stands for Document Object Model, which represents the structure and content of the web document. This is the sample HTML code, and this is the corresponding DOM, which is representing each and every element in the HTML document. React has something called virtual DOM, which is supported by React DOM library, which we saw in index.js file. If we consider a class-based component, and if we assume that a tree is generated by render method, on state update, this method would return a different tree because based on the state, we may edit or add new elements. Every time rendering the whole component would be difficult because we may have thousands of elements, which is expensive. So React uses the concept of virtual DOM. It takes the snapshot of real DOM, which we see in the Inspect Elements tab, and stores it in memory. Whenever we update our state, the changes will not be directly rendered to the real DOM. Instead, it will take a snapshot of current DOM as shown in the image 1 and compares with the new state as in image 2. It will add only the updates or new elements to the real DOM. In our example, if you observe the messages section, initially we don't have anything except this image, button, empty div and our newly added text. Ignore this for now. So I'll click on the subscribe button and notice a flash in the DOM. So when the state is updated from false to true, we have updated the text in button from subscribe to unsubscribe. And we have rendered an element in this div which displays a message, which is thank you message in this case. And also we have updated a block from none value to the display property based on this value. So we saw flash only in those sections. That means React did not render this whole DOM. It just went and checked the snapshot in virtual DOM and compared the updates and updated only the updated sections to the real DOM. This process is what makes React efficient. So we have seen why we should avoid using display none in conditional rendering, what is a DOM, and how React uses virtual DOM. Thank you for watching. Please like, share and subscribe to InterviewPro.